All right, to wrap up this chapter, let's think about a soft drink company facing another entry into an already crowded industry. So Keurig, you all know Keurig, right? Entered the market of make-it-yourself soft drinks by introducing the cold machine. And so in response, the previously existing competitor, SodaStream, further differentiated its products by offering additional options such as capabilities to mix cocktails or to make hot drinks. And eventually Keurig got out because they just couldn't compete with SodaStream. All right, and then let's wrap up with some issues and applications. So professional service firms confront easier entry by new competitors. So a growing number of companies have begun offering so-called financial planning services via low-priced apps, which have reduced the demand for services of traditional firms in the industry. And there have been two types of long-run adjustments. There have been an exit of these more traditional firms that experienced negative profits after the entry of these low-priced apps. And then on top of that, the existing firms that stayed in business began to offer more differentiated products. So they began to compete by offering similar app services. And then economic profits earned among commercial law firms have enticed the entry of commercial accounting firms. The growth of the legal divisions of a number of the largest accounting firms has reduced the demand for the legal services provided by traditional law firms, and thus reductions in economic profits earned across the market for legal services. So that's an interesting way to differentiate themselves. Right, these accounting firms basically taking in like law services and providing that as a part of their service, and that basically was a way or a form of competition against just straight up legal firms, right? Okay, so just to recap, we talked about the key characteristics of monopolistically competitive firms: large number of firms, differentiated products. Okay, so large number of firms, similar to perfect competition, but not identical products, but rather differentiated products. Very easy entry and exit, which is what leads to zero economic profit in the long run for these types of firms. And then because of the differentiation, there's a place for advertising and sales promotion. And then we saw the output and pricing decision of these types of firms and how they look very similar to monopolies. And how they are different from perfectly competitive markets. But basically recall that they produce output where marginal revenue equals marginal cost, so that's always true for firms. And in the short run, they can charge more than average total cost as well as marginal costs and can earn economic profits. But of course, in the long run, they earn zero economic profits. So right, in the long run, price equals average total cost. And like a perfectly competitive firm, they earn zero economic profits in the long run, but they do not minimize average total cost like perfectly competitive firms. And so price exceeds marginal cost. So there's some loss of efficiency. And then we looked at why brand names and advertising are important. And how they basically engage heavily in these activities. We saw also the different types of marketing and advertising, and also the different types of goods out there related to marketing and advertising. And then we wrapped up by talking about information products and how in the long run price adjusts to equate to average total cost, right? Price equals average total cost in the long run. All right, that was chapter 25 on monopolistic competition. So you have an exam due this Thursday, May 7th by 11:59 p.m. Don't forget about that. Make sure you do that. This chapter is not on that exam, by the way. So this material will be on the final exam, and then after this, we only have one more chapter to cover. So there'll be one more lecture video next Tuesday, which is May 12th, I believe. And then after that, it's just there. We have to do the what's it called? It's basically an assignment that evaluates your ability to differentiate between these different types of industries that we've learned about. We have one more to learn about. It's called oligopoly. That'll be the last chapter. But basically, after next Tuesday, we don't have any more video lectures. It's just doing that that assessment. That's what it's called. And then studying for the final exam, which will be, I think, May 21st, if I'm not mistaken. But I'll update you, and I'll see you in the next video lecture for our last chapter, oligopoly.